Cobblemon is full of all sorts of incredible, unique Pokemon forms. So in today's video, I'm going to share what I think are the top 10 unique Cobblemon forms and how you can get each of them. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video because I'll be saving the best for last. Coming in at number 10, we have Heart Wooper. This adorable little Wooper has a heart right below its face where a normal Wooper doesn't. It's new with the Cobblemon 1.6 update, and it's actually pretty simple to obtain. If you go fishing with a fishing rod that has a love ball on it, there's a chance that you will pull a Wooper with a heart. That is the only way that you can obtain one. It's still somewhat rare, but it's definitely doable, and it's an incredible Pokemon to get. If at any time you find this video helpful, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We're really working to 10k subscribers, and we'd love to have you as part of the team. If you don't know how to get a fishing rod in Cobblemon, I have an entire video about that, and you can watch the tutorial. It'll be linked in the description below. Side note, check out these Ducklett. I don't know if this is a glitch or something that the Cobblemon developers put in the game, but it looks like they all are stuck trying to fly on the fence, or they're just hanging out here. I wasn't going to include this in the video, but it is very strange, and they look kind of possessed. I have no idea what's going on in their heads, but we're just going to pretend that nothing's happening, and we're going to go back into the video. Coming in at number 9 is one of my personal favorites, and that is the brown Mooshtank Meltank. This guy is super funny looking, and they even added the awesome feature that if you right-click him with a bowl, you will receive Mushroom Stew, which makes it so that he's basically an infinite food source in Cobblemon. You can only find this guy spawning in a Mushroom Island biome, which is pretty rare. So if you want one of these, my best suggestion would be to find a Minecraft seed that has a Mushroom Island near spawn, and that's probably going to be the easiest way for you to get one. But if you're already in your world, then you'll just have to look around for a while and hope you get lucky. As a bonus, just because I saw one of these spawn, there are several different Arbok forms that you can find in the game with different chest patterns. Most of them will just spawn randomly anywhere you can find a normal Arbok. Vivillon as a Pokemon already has a ton of incredible forms in Pokemon and in Cobblemon as well. But in Cobblemon, they've added some extra special Vivillon forms. And so coming in at number 8, we have the Deep Dark Vivillon. This is honestly one of the coolest Pokemon in the game. To obtain him, all you need to do is take a Spupa down to the Deep Dark, which you can just find digging in many areas, and then evolve it. And obviously, as you can see, since I'm not in the Deep Dark, he would evolve into a different form. But if you were to evolve this Spupa in the Deep Dark, you would get yourself one of these guys. Coming in at number 7, we have this awesome Valencian Vileplume that has these like fun circle kind of heart shapes and the slightly different color head. Now, to obtain one of these, you either need to catch an Oddish or a Gloom in a Savanna or Tropical Island biome. And then once you get it to a Gloom, if you give it a Leaf Stone and evolve it, it will evolve into a Valencian Vileplume rather than a normal Vileplume, which I think is super awesome. And here's the difference between Valencian Vileplume and a normal Vileplume right here, who's hiding among the orange berries. They both look awesome, but I personally think this Valencian form is super cool and unique. Coming in at number 6, we have a two-way tie between the Void Vivillon and the Inferno Vivillon. These two, I think, are absolutely incredible. The Void Vivillon, you have to evolve a Spupa in the end, and the Inferno Vivillon, you have to evolve a Spupa in the Nether. So for example here, if we take this Spupa into the Nether and evolve it, you'll see that the Inferno Vivillon is now an option, and then as it evolves here, it will evolve into the Inferno Vivillon. Now I do love the new evolution animation, but it is super long, so sometimes I would skip it, but here we go, and as you can see, we now have this awesome Inferno Vivillon. The light is not great as we are in the Nether, but there we go. We'll light a little bit of fire and you can see him better. I think it's awesome that he has these super sweet flame wings. And I think being able to capture all of the different Vivillon forms in Cobblemon would be a super fun challenge. Let me know in the comment section below if any of you have actually captured all of the Vivillon forms before. And make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying this video so far. Also, I have no idea how to pronounce Vivillon, so I may have been saying that wrong. I've always said Vivillon, but it's spelled Vivillon, and so I have no idea how to say that right. So I'm probably saying it wrong, and if so, excuse my ignorance. And I'm sure someone in the comment section below can tell us the right way to pronounce it. Coming in at number 5 is the red Mooshtank Miltank, which I think is super awesome. The brown one is fun, but this one I think looks so much more vibrant and unique. And I love to have one of these guys walking around with a pasture block, and I can use them as an infinite food source with the mushroom stew, just like the other one. Now we're getting into the really cool ones, and I'm even going to have a couple bonus forms here after number 1, so make sure to stick around to the end of the video. Coming in at number 4 is what I think is actually one of the most creative forms in Cobblemon. If you give a Pineco a Shulker shell to hold, then when you evolve it, you can evolve into this Foretress that looks just like a Minecraft Shulker. I think this is so much fun because it's really where Cobblemon thrives is implementing Minecraft and Pokemon perfectly, and I think this is the best way to do it. It looks just like a normal Shulker that you would fight, but it also resembles Foretress, and I think it's a super awesome combo. Not to mention that this kind of Foretress, I think, has one of the coolest shinies in all of Cobblemon. Just look at this guy. He looks incredible. Also, I think I forgot to mention that red Mooshtank just can be caught in a Mushroom Island biome, just like the other Mooshtank. And then these guys are actually pretty easy to obtain. Pineco can be found in a ton of common biomes. I'm sure most of you have already seen one before. And then to get a Foretress like this, you'll just have to go to the end and get a Shulker shell. Coming in at number 3 is one of my personal favorites, and it's one again where there's actually some bonuses here. You've probably noticed if you've played any of 1.6 that there are some special Magikarp forms that you can find in the game. And now a ton of these are super awesome, and I couldn't show all of them because that would take up the entire video. So I decided to just show you what I think is probably the coolest one, but this is the Gray Diamond Magikarp. And now when you look at him, he doesn't look that cool, but if you get him to level 20 and evolve him into Gyarados, he's going to turn into one of the coolest looking Gyaradoses I have ever seen. Now to catch this one, you have a chance for it anywhere, but you have the highest chance in mountain biomes. And there he is. Look at that. You get this awesome black Gyarados, purple eyes, and he's got these diamonds running down his side. If you're interested in these, I may make a full video at some point in the future, but on the Cobblemon wiki you can see all the different forms. It's just important to make sure that you go to your resource packs and make sure you have the Gyarados jump patterns enabled. If you do not have this resource pack here enabled, then you will not be able to get a Gyarados like this or any of the Magikarp forms. Coming in at number 2, we have one of the coolest and by far the most expensive Pokemon in all of Cobblemon. Evolving Gimmighoul into Gholdengo is already super expensive, but in Cobblemon, they have special Netherite coated Gholdengos. And depending on the number of Netherite scraps you give your Gimmighoul, it will evolve into one of several different stages, as you can see here, with varying degrees of Netherite coating. So if you go to a Gimmighoul here, you'll see that it has a coin stash necessary to evolve it into Gholdengo, and a scrap stash, which will depend its Netherite status. And if you feed it Netherite scraps by right-clicking it, you'll see that it fills up, and 10 is only 3% here, so you need a ton of them. But if you have the time and you're super rich and you give it 256 Netherite scraps, then when you evolve it, you can evolve it into a fully coated Netherite Gholdengo, which is probably the biggest possible flex in all of Cobblemon. I don't know that I will ever have time to be able to gather that much Netherite, but if you do, you will be the coolest person on your server. And he looks absolutely awesome. Definitely the kind of guy you would want to show off with a pasture block everywhere you go. Now coming in at number 1, the Pokemon who in my opinion is the coolest Cobblemon unique form, and again this is all my opinion, so let me know your favorite in the comment section down below, is Cherry Tree Torterra. I think this Pokemon is so cool. I think all of the Torterra forms are incredible, but this one is by far the coolest. The pink cherry blossom tree just brings it all together, and I do not think you can get a cooler Pokemon form than this one. Obtaining one is actually pretty simple. You just need a Grottle at level 32, and then if you give it a cherry sapling to hold, when you go to evolve it, you can choose to evolve it into normal Torterra or Cherry Tree Torterra. Now the easiest, if you really want one of these, would just be to start with a Turtwig in your Cobblemon journey, but if you're too far in, Turtwig can be found in a lot of plains and forest biomes. And while it is a rare spawn, if you have your base in one of those, it's not impossible to run into. Now, if you're interested in more of the other Torterra forms, I have an entire video about it that you can check out on my channel. I'll link it in the description below. And if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this video right here where I give the top 100 tips and tricks for Cobblemon.